when we look at such summits, obviously both the countries are looking to benefit both sides. So Russia will be looking to expand ties with India, even though it is trying to maintain, like you mentioned, ties with China, with America. But let me just introduce this piece of information for our viewers. Last night, Russian President, when he was in Delhi on a state visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi actually gifted the President a copy of the Bhagavad Gita, which is in Russian. Now, Prime Minister Modi actually shared a photo of the moment and described the Gita as a source of inspiration for millions around the world. So, there you have it, that photograph on your screens, Prime Minister Narendra Modi gifting President Putin the copy of the Bhagavad Gita, and this is translated actually in Russian, a very symbolic gesture over there. Let me go across to Professor Tejawat on this. Professor, this is a very symbolic gesture. It portrays how deep our cultural ties are also there with Russia. We have the Prime Minister gifting President Putin a copy of the Bhagavad Gita over there. How do you look at this symbolic gesture?
Yeah, the present government is really given a good gestures and proven that the India and Russia is having historical relations. If you remember that Rahul Sankrityayan, he has written a book, Volga to Ganga. So the Volga river is in Russia and Ganga river is in India. And India is having a really close relation in compared to other European countries with the Russia, because the Buddhism was spread out till the Central Asia, and we know that the Central Asia was a part of USSR, and now the Putin is starving to make that USSR again. The Putin is believing that the Russia is a natural instances of that that particular legacy which USSR created. So I suppose it's really a good gestures, and it's all about the India's cultural identity even, and the present government has proven that the India is having its specific identity. Even when we welcome the Putin Sahab at airport, we given gestures by the Indian dance and all that. So we believe that we are proud of our culture, and no country in the world can make India to uh, to, uh, to be agree with their own conditions. So I believe that it was really a good gestures on a part of Indian government. Diplomat really planned the whole program there.
Absolutely. I
Over
think
to you.
with that photograph itself, we can see how symbolic that entire gesture is. But if I can go across to Mr. Gupta, you have been talking about trade in our personal currency, and if we look at rupee and if we look at the ruble, we are also expecting talks on rupee and ruble being used interchangeably in both the countries. How do you think that will impact? Because they are saying that this is to cut short the dominance of the dollars in the global market.
Correct. So this is what I said. This is towards the hitting the dominance of dollar. But you know what Mr. Putin said yesterday night in Moscow while giving an interview to an Indian TV channel. It said we are not in hurry. We want to give the message. Please try to understand. Nobody, no, neither Mr. Modi or Mr. Putin, they don't want to change the financial dynamics for currency settlement, but they want to give the message that this is the currency diplomacy. That if you will hit here, we will hit there. So if we will start, then everybody will start. So your kingdom will come down soon, not in 5 years, but in 15 years. So this is a currency diplomacy. This is a message. We don't want to do anything for currency, but if you will put tariff on us, you will put sanction on you, Russia. We will do this. This is how fight start. You know, when you punch on the mouth, then he can punch on the stomach. You know, so this is something is shown for others that we can do also. We are not in hurry. We means India is not in hurry. Same thing said Mr. President Putin. We are not in hurry. So that means this is a slow and steady politics that we are moving towards growth. India is moving towards growth and Russia is moving towards settlement. Because once upon a time, Russia was equal to America in all terms. But now, few things have changed a lot. Russia is powerful only in the defense materials, only in nuclear arms and all. Now Russia want to settle again. It wants to again financial power. That is the reason Russia is connecting with China and India. Russia very well knows that China and India cannot be a good friend, but they can be a companion for the time being. And this is what also India wants, because India also want to be a manufacturing hub, want to supply lot of material to Russia, but India should not be a competitor of China. It should be a substitute of China, because when you become competitor, the competitors start fighting with each other. India doesn't need to fight with China because China has lot of supplies and material which India need to have from China regularly for at least 15-20 years. China has lot of rare earth materials which we cannot survive without them. So India need to be substitute. Okay, what China is not providing, India can provide. If China will stop supplying the solvent material for medicine, India cannot produce more than 30% medicine of the current production. So we have to be substitute, alternate for each other, and this way we will supply to the entire world. If China is supplying 70%, India can supply remaining 25%, 5% for other, and India will be satisfied for with this 25%. Because India has the capacity. You see a lot many states, especially BJP ruled state, trying to start more production. They are inviting investors to start the production. So from their supply chain will start, from their manufacturing line will start. Then only you will be able to deliver. Otherwise, we will import from China and supply to Canada. So we have to change this game. So one side Modi has started to start production manufacturing hub see every state, whether it is West Bengal to Tamil Nadu or Gujarat to UP. So we have to go slowly, steady, peacefully, and by joining the hands. Even if we are not good friend, I'm talking about China. Even if we are not good friend, but still we are companion for the timing for, because we have too long way to go.
Absolutely. I think we have to look at our self-interest when we look at the macro picture over there. But Professor Jawat, if I can come across to you, when we talk about economy, when we talk about trade deals, India and Russia are looking at meeting that $100 billion trade mark by 2030. And my other panelists just pointed out the various sectors that we will be looking at apart from manufacturing. We are looking at defense. But this entire summit, the timing of it, sir, is very important. As per your understanding, do you think this is also because both the countries, this comes at a time when both the countries have been snubbed by Western powers, and now both the countries are posturing their strategic partnership, their strategic importance in the entire Indian Ocean region?
You are right. Now the India and Russia, both the countries are facing a great pressure from the Western world, the United States and the European Union. But still, both the countries is trying to find out the way to cope up that pressure and to find out the new ways. It's not only about what I said in the beginning of a talk, that it's not only about the defense deal. Of course, the Russia is seeking a good defense deal. The reason behind it that other than the petroleum, from last few days, the few weeks, the India stopped purchasing much oil from the Russia. So the Russia is looking for an alternative to go for a good deal in a defense sector, particularly to developing a fighter jets and some other sections of the defense area. But the India is more interested to go their economy, because India is having a much more options to purchase these fighter planes from the United States, from the European Union partners and other countries, but the Russia is only having that weapon market in India. So the Russia is more interested to go for that deal, but the India is more interested to make the Russia agree to give some employment to our skilled and unskilled laborers, and of course the Russia is having that capacity because the many young people they died in Russia-Ukraine war, and the country is suffering from the manpower, and the laborers are not very much cheap over there. So India can be the alternative for Russia's need, and India and Russia may plan, but actually it need to go for a long exercise, and the total responsibility lying on the diplomats who is working hard to make that deal successful. But of course, in a mainstream media, these the talks for the economic development of India is normally the people are not talking about. Normally, we are talking about the defense deal and the energy security, petroleum. We are mostly talking about that. But India is more interested to grow in some other sectors also, so India can find the alternatives, because in a Western world, India is not having that scope, and the remaining of the world, like the African Union and the African countries, the China is almost overspreaded over there. So the India will definitely looking into that. So that sector should not the Indian diplomat will not keep that sector away from their talks. Over to you.
Right, right. In fact, Mr. Gupta, do you also believe that this is another way for India to prove its dominance in various other fields and then make sure that it can supply it to, say for example, like our other panelists mentioned, that in fact, I will come back to you, Mr. Gupta, and I will request Professor Tejawat and Mr. Gupta to please stay on with us. But let me just introduce, let me go across to my colleague, Piyaman, for the latest news from Maharashtra.